Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. This is Marilyn Gale. Before I start the second episode of Sisters, I just wanted to remind everyone, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do so now and hit the notification bell. So like I said, I'm going to give you a recap of Sisters. And I want so much to like this episode because I like the idea of sisterhood. I know in realities, right now, the relationship between friends is tragic because we see on these reality shows people flipping tables, throwing drinks on people, climbing over tables, slapping people, pulling hair, and just not a reflection of what sisterhood is supposed to be. You know, best friends one day. And we know friends, they go through situations, they go through seasons. But if you're going to knock somebody over the head with a bottle and then you are claiming to be a good friend next week, I'm not buying it. And then the whole thing's happened again, and then I'm just not buying it. So I wanted to just come on and just give you the recap of this series, second episode. I did break it up into part 1 and 2 because I wanted to share enough so you would know what the episode is about, but I didn't want it to make it too long, and it would be too long if I just put all of it together, so I broke it up, and I'll be bringing part 2 shortly. Now, we left off where Andy's married lover's wife was in Andy's office seeking a divorce, and Andy didn't know what to do and wondered how much the wife knew about her and Gary. Now, let me just remind you really quickly that Andy is seeing a guy named Gary, and he's married, and he keeps telling her he's going to leave his wife or what have you, but as of yet, he has not done that. Okay, just want to catch you up. Now, she offered the wife some coffee, in which the wife declined. So Andy excused herself because she wanted an excuse to get out of the room. And when the wife declined the offer of coffee, Andy excused herself, saying that she had to go to the restroom because she had had too much coffee. So when she gets in the bathroom and she looks in all the stalls to make sure that nobody's in there and hears her conversation, then she calls her good friend Karen. She tells Karen that the wife is in her office. Now remember, Karen is the only one of the ladies that know Gary is married. Andy has not confided into any of the other girls, and if you look back at the last episode and then we go further, you'll see why at first she, just tells Karen. Now, Karen tells her that no way can she represent his wife. And then she goes, after she finished talking to Karen on the phone, she goes into her boss's office to tell him that she can't represent the client because there's a conflict of interest. Her boss, basically poo-pooed her and reminds Andy that with her 2 cases, she made the firm $6 million, and her portion of that is $800,000 for herself. And to make this work, make this client, her represent the client, make it work. Now, she goes back into the office and the wife breaks down and she cries and she says she loves Gary and wants Andy to be her attorney. Now, Andy, she's still playing dumb, like she don't know who she's talking about and that she's interested in what she has to say. Andy asks why she wants the divorce. Basically, she's digging for information, on Gary, to see if Gary is who she thinks Gary is. Back in the office, the wife breaks down, like I said, and she, and she wants Sandy to be the attorney. Andy asks why she wants a divorce. And basically the client says Gary is a liar, a cheater, a user, and an abuser, and she knows he's been cheating. Andy then asks her, has he done this before? And the wife replies, yes. Andy asks if she has proof of the affair, and the wife says that her husband is very careful. She says he showers more, he wears different clothing than he has before, and she wants to know who the B is. So she also says that she has hired a detective, a private detective, and Andy asked her nervously, does he have anything? And the wife says that, again, Gary is careful. But she knows that the private detective will find something. Then she says to Andy that she thinks him and his lover is meeting each other at the gym, because Gary goes to the gym at 5 a.m. But being careful, she says Gary parks across the street from the gym. Now, the wife doesn't realize that Andy lives across the street from the gym, and that's why he parked there. Andy tells the wife to tell her more. And the wife says Saturday they were supposed to meet at the mall, and then the scene ends. And it changes there. It goes back to Karen. Karen is waking up, getting dressed, and her STD infected boyfriend walks in. Yes, she, at the opening scene, well, not the opening scene, but the scene from last week, she went to see her doctor to get something for the STD. Now, he starts apologizing and saying he's sorry about everything and wanted things the way they were. Basically, she tells him he just don't get it, and tells him again to be gone by the time she gets back. Now, the next scene is Sabrina inside the bank. You remember her. She met Calvin, one of the customers of the bank, and later him and her had a drink with the other sisters in the same restaurant. They were celebrating Andy's birthday. Now up to date, the security guard brings in flowers, and her nosy co-worker comes over like the flowers are for him. Now, he did say last week that the guy she met wanted him. Then her co-worker asked who the flowers are from, and she did say they're from Calvin. And on the card, he asked her to lunch, and the co-worker tells her she should not be at Calvin's beck and call. Don't be available. Then he asked if she slept with him, and that he knew that she went out with his man. Sabrina told him she didn't sleep with Calvin. Well, he tells her she can't go out with him every time he calls. So Sabrina told him she wasn't about to play those games, to which he tells her in return, you can't win if you don't play the game. Now the co-worker tells her, cool, be available, and he'll be gone in 2 weeks. So Sabrina's not having it. They're going back. And so he tells her again, cool, enjoy your 2 weeks. Sabrina then asked him, when was the last time you were in a relationship that was longer than 2 weeks? And her co-worker tells her, exactly my point. Now the next scene is at Karen's job, the salon. Andy walks in and tells Karen just a little bit of what was going on with her man, and they leave to go to lunch. So I'm telling you that because that's important for a scene later. Okay, now the scene switches to Sabrina and Calvin at lunch. Okay, Sabrina, the one that works in the bank, Calvin, the one that sent her the flowers, and they had a drink at the celebration just to catch you up. So they're talking, and he's giving her a lot of compliments, saying that her smile is giving him life. Now let me cut there, on my notes. I'm dated. We, us ladies, we've dated, and most of us have had more than one date. How many men talk like that? Your smile is giving me life. I don't know any men in my circle of friends. I'm talking platonic. That even tell his friend, your smile is giving me life. Okay, let's go on. I'm gonna stop that. Now she tells him what's up, because she's kind of leery of all the compliments he's paying her. And then she asked him, where's your girlfriend? And at first he's kind of like, where's my girlfriend? She said, well, you asked about me having a man. I'm asking you where your girlfriend is. Okay, so he, touche. He tells her he has a kid. He doesn't have a girlfriend, but he has a kid with a baby mama that is batshit crazy. That basically he was drawn to her sexually because she had a great body, and they had only had sex one time. Okay, so in walks this guy with a head wrap. He walks into where Sabrina and what's his name again? Because he's so boring. She walks in where they're having lunch, and he's dressed in black tights. Now picture this guy, head wrap. It's some little bangs like coming out of the head wrap. He has a tank top on, and look like those skinny jeans or tights, whatever. And he has on a black coat with ankle boots with heels. The white heels, white ankle boots. He notices Calvin at the same time Calvin notices him. So Calvin looks around. He said, oh my gosh, it's you, Lance. And they hug each other. Calvin gets up and goes, they meet like halfway to where Calvin was sitting. And so they hug tight and they kiss in the mouth. You should see Sabrina's eyes bugging out of her head with her mouth open. Shut your mouth, Sabrina. You know what's up now, girl. Now, Calvin and Lance go back and forth like, it's so good to see you. No, so glad to see you. So Calvin introduces Lance to Sabrina, and she extends her hand to greet him, and Lance leaves her hanging and continues to talk to Calvin, saying, oh, I miss you so much. And Lance said, I miss you so much. And they continue that for about a minute or so. And they sort of kind of end the conversation. So Lance is going back to the counter. I guess the order was he wants. And Calvin sits down with Sabrina again and says, good old Lance. So Sabrina motions to Calvin because she's looking all like, what is going on here? So she motions to Calvin that he has lipstick on his lips, and Calvin laughs and wipes it off with the back of his hand. So at this time, Sabrina is just too through with this situation. She's stuttering, and she just says she's had to go. And Calvin goes back to the cashier to pay for the meal and starts up talking to Lance again, not noticing that Sabrina has got up and left. Sabrina gone. Next scene, Andy and Karen are at the restaurant, and Sabrina has texted Andy saying she's on her way. Okay, Sabrina that just had the encounter with the two men with each other. One of the man she acts very interested in him. So Andy hurries and tells Karen the update about Gary and his wife before any of the other girls show up. She's telling Gary that Gary's wife says that he yells at her a lot and belittles her, and Karen tells Andy, you can't take that wife's case, and reminds her she could lose her job, which she's worked very hard to get where she is now. So Andy tells Karen about the private detective the wife has hired, and with all the details. Karen tells Andy that she thinks the wife knows about her and Gary is about her and Gary, and is just messing with her head. That she doesn't put it past the wife, so she has to talk to her boss so she won't lose her job. She has to get to the boss and spill the beans before he finds out some kind of way that she's the reason why the woman wants to divorce, and that's why she can't take she can't take the case. So get to the boss. She wouldn't put it past the wife to talk to the boss, so she has to do it before the wife does it, so she won't lose her job. So in walks Donnie, the one that works at the airport, the dingy one, the one that reminds me of Lynn on Girlfriend, the one that seems broke all the time because she tells Karen after a little conversation that she's charged her Amazon stuff to her account, and that, girl, I'll pay you back. Yeah, right. We know people like that who borrow money and tell the other person they'll pay them back when they get their income tax refund check, which never seems to come. Okay, guys, that's part 1. I'm going to bring you part 2 very soon, if not tonight, first thing in the morning. I wish all of you guys a great weekend, and I'm bringing this to you guys because even though this is a series, it's always a lesson learned in series. They are not they're not pattern after one particular person, but situations we can all kind of, and so far on this, we're seeing someone that's dealing with a married man. Okay, we know people who have done that. We're dealing people who will take your friendship, kindness for weakness and start charging stuff using your account. And how she got the number, I don't know. So evidently she let her use the card before and she's using it, without permission. We know people like that. We know women who don't pay attention to the signs when they meet someone, and then they get all engulfed with someone, have sex and what have you before they even know the man, and then after they have sex with that person then and get engulfed in that person, or let that person get engulfed in their life, they get all involved with that person and get all emotionally and mentally and physically and sexually tied to that person. And then they start paying attention to the signs. Or if they did see the signs, they ignore it because they want what they want. So we all know people like that. Not just women. It just happen to be women in this case, in this series. But we can all look at these fictitious characters, and a lot of us can see the traits and characteristics in people we know in our real life. So, again, I'm going to end this right now. I'll be bringing you part 2, and I hope you guys enjoyed this because, like I said, I'm still trying to like this series because I do want to see a sister. I want to see something positive on TV with a sisterhood in it. So, to give good examples of friendships with women. And in this case, there's friendships with Black women. So I'm going to end it there. I promise. So I'm going to end it. And I will see you shortly with part 2. Thank you guys and have a good evening. Good night.